Welcome to the Tea Mind. I'm Erica, and this is your weekly pause to put the kettle on, slow down, and reconnect with what really matters. If you're here, you're probably the kind of person who knows that tea is more than just a beverage. It's a practice, it's a way to bring a pause into your day-to-day life and a way to come back to yourself whenever you need to rebalance. And today we're talking about a tea that doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't get many headlines yet, but it can quietly change everything. And that is Hojicha. It's a roasted green tea, it's very mellow, and it might just be your new secret weapon in a world that glorifies overstimulation. So let's start here. The world is wired nowadays, and so are we, finding it very hard to switch off sometimes, just constantly overstimulated. And most people reach for caffeine in the morning to wake up and to stay sharp and to get things done. We've been sold this idea that productivity needs to feel like a big lightning jolt. But what if instead clarity came not from that stimulation, but from a gentle soothing instead? What if the relaxation is what you needed to get your sharpest thinking? In my experience, your nervous system needs a little break before your brain can fully function at its best. And this is where I am finding Hojicha can step in. So maybe that sort of 3 p.m. coffee crash is familiar to you, the racing heart. I don't know about you, but it makes my eyes twitter as well, and I get brain fog from overstimulation, lots of chaos, and no amount of trying to push through that is going to get you to the clarity that is most useful. We think we have to push harder and harder, but our brains are quietly asking us to just gently slow down. So when you are overstimulated, you can often make more mistakes, you're more reactive than creative, and you lose the ability to think long term. But we reward it anyway in our society. We chase it and we make content about it. But high energy isn't the same as high performance. And Hoji Chat gives us a nice alternative, a way to really signal to our body that it's safe to focus and it's okay just to exhale, to let go. And that might be the most radical act of mental fitness that you can do for yourself today. So, what's my own relationship with caffeine like? Well, I drink tea all day and still sleep like a baby, which is lucky because I run a tea business. But coffee is a very different story. I can really only handle 1 cup, ideally in the morning, maybe early afternoon. But any later than that, and it tends to mess with my sleep, and I get jittery. My brain feels like it's scattergun all over the place. So I've learned to lean into matcha in the past, and it gives me that energy of coffee, but it's got a soft alertness and a sort of calm sense of clarity. But last year I found Hojicha, and in powdered form, you can make it the same way as you do matcha. So you can have shots of it or long drinks, hot or cold, or use it as a latte. And for me, it's changed everything. And I still remember that moment in the office with our team. We were experimenting with Hojicha lattes and had this collective moment of, whoa, this is incredible. And it really was that perfect bridge between matcha and coffee. It's comforting, but it still helps you regain your mental sharpness. And it's got that lovely nutty roasted taste, but it's grounding as well without making you sleepy. So my go-to now is a Hojicha latte with just a little bit of Hojicha powder mixed in with warm but not boiling water, some steamed oat milk, and a tiny squeeze of honey if I feel like it. And I love it in the afternoon when I need a little break but still want to focus. It really gives me that little moment just to pause and rebalance. So let's just zoom out a little bit and work out what Hojicha actually is. So it is a Japanese green tea, but unlike the really bright green of matcha or the grassy notes of sencha, Hojicha is a toasty, sort of nutty taste. It's really warm with earthy flavors. Most green teas are steamed to prevent oxidization, but Hojicha is instead roasted at high temperatures, and that gives it its signature sort of amber color, and it removes some of the bitterness and the astringency, and it also, importantly, lowers the caffeine content dramatically. So I'm going to link in the show notes to a table from the Hojicha lab, which has looked at caffeine content by beverage type. And it shows that for an average of 240 milliliter serving, Hojicha is about 7 to 20 milligrams of caffeine, matcha about 60 to 80, and drip coffee is about 95 to 200. So you can see that it's got way lower caffeine than your matcha or your coffee, especially if you were looking at espresso type coffee as well. So this makes it perfect for evenings, for sensitive nervous systems, and for anyone just wanting to reduce stimulants without losing the ritual of tea and also the benefits. So traditionally, it's made from bancha or sometimes even cookie cha, which is a twig tea. And the leaves are sometimes the stems are also roasted, giving that really deep aroma, which smells almost like roasted chestnuts or warm toast. And you can brew it just like any other loose leaf tea just by mixing it or whisking it teaspoon in about 80 to 90, almost 95 degrees of water. And just you can yeah, just make it longer or shorter depending on how you want to drink it. And it doesn't have the same bitter taste as some other powders. It's also amazing as tea lattes. So just mixing it with your favorite milk and adding a squeeze of honey or whatever you want to sweeten it. So, what does this mean for you? In the world of green juice and endless productivity hacks, maybe what we actually need is a little more roasted tea, something to help just gently calm your nervous system, to something that supports your sleep and helps your digestion and brings a little bridge back to yourself. So I like to do it sort of early evening or just when I'm sort of switching between work mode and evening mode instead of reaching for a glass of wine or some snacks or doom scrolling. I just take a few moments now, which I'm trying to do as much as I can every day, just to brew some hojicha and then just have a little stretch. And I use it as a little transition for how I want my evening to go. So you could either just think about that or journal about it or just visualize it in your head or just take a few minutes just to breathe and set yourself up for a lovely evening. So studies have shown that some scent compounds in roasted teas like hojicha, including something called pyrazines, can reduce cortisol levels and support relaxation. So I'll link the notes to this study. It was in Very Well Health in 2024. So I'll link that in the show notes. And L-theanine is something that's found in all green teas, and it's been shown by some studies to increase alpha brainwaves, which are commonly reported to be associated with creativity, focus, and calm alertness. I'll pop the links to the studies. There's one Medical News Today and also published in the National Library of Medicine, so I'll put those in the show notes too. So when you sip Hojicha mindfully, you're doing more than just relaxing. You are actually starting to rebuild your nervous system. So here's your tea routine that I suggest or invite you to try this week, and it's called the Evening Clarity Cup. So just take a teaspoon of hojicha powder and brew it in just sort of 50 mils of about 90-95 degree water and just whisk it up or mix it in and just let the aroma gently guide you. And then if you want to drink it straight, you can just add a little bit more water or add some steamed milk of your choice and sweeten it if you wish. And then while you are sipping your tea, ask yourself, what do I want to leave behind today? And then ask, what deserves space for tomorrow? And you might want to just do a gentle stretch, maybe some neck rolls or a forward fold, or just stretching your arms out overhead, just whatever feels good to you. And then ask yourself, where am I holding on to tightly? What could I soften into instead? And then just take those few moments, just focusing only on the taste and the feel of the cup in your hands, just being really present and getting ready for your evening ahead. So I encourage you to try it once or make it your new evening ritual. So, what if your next big breakthrough doesn't come from just pushing through, but actually from a pause? And what if the clearest vision of you isn't more hyped up and caffeinated, but actually more calm and grounded? So, this week, try your own Hojicha ritual or any other sort of lower caffeine tea that you feel drawn to, and give your nervous system a gentle break and a little bit more softness. And if this resonated, please send this episode to someone who is living on too much coffee and too much chaos because they might need it too. So, thank you so much for joining me this week. When the time is right for you, I would love it if you could join me on Substack. You can join the newsletter, check out some recipes at etiquette.co.uk, or come and sip with me at our in person or online Tea Mind circles, which are coming up very soon. Until next time, pause, rebalance, and trust that calm is a strategy. That's it for today. I hope something landed. I hope something lifted. And if it did, share it with someone who needs a pause too. If you enjoyed this, you'll love the Tea Mind Substack, where the kettle's always on and we can connect more deeply. Until next time, stay present, sip slowly, and thanks for listening.